Welcome all my crochet hookin' friends, and thank you for watching Heather's Craft Corner. I'm Heather, and today we'll be starting Crochet Basics with Lesson 1, Choosing Your Yarn and Hook. For this series, I will be using worsted weight yarn. I recommend starting out with DK, worsted, or Aran weight yarn with an even thickness and minimal fuzz and fluff. A simple acrylic yarn should do the trick, but feel free to pick whatever fiber you wish. I'd also recommend a solid color so you can really see your stitches. When picking your yarn, look for one of these symbols on the label. DK or light yarn is more common in places such as the UK, whereas worsted or medium yarn is more common in the US. Both weights are easy to work with when you first get started. When picking a hook, make sure you use one that is compatible with the yarn you are choosing. As a guideline, use a 4 to 5 mm hook for light yarn and a 5 to 6 mm hook for medium yarn. You will often see US sizing along with a millimeter size associated with the hook. For example, a 4 mm hook may also be called a G6 hook. See the description below for a link to a hook sizing chart to help you navigate these terms. A yarn label can contain a lot of helpful information. It tells you the weight of the yarn either by symbol or written out, a hook size recommendation, and guidelines for your gauge, also referred to as tension, which is the number of stitches and rows for a given measurement. It identifies the fibers used in the yarn, gives you the length of the skein, usually in yards and meters, and it should also provide you with care instructions. The yarn I'm working with recommends a J hook or a 6 mm hook, so I'll go ahead and use that for this series. When picking out a hook, I recommend picking one with some kind of ergonomic handle. You'll have less fatigue in your hands and a more pleasant experience. My personal favorite is the Clover Amour hook. It's fairly inexpensive and has a comfortable handle that is great to work with. I also like that the hook size is engraved in the handle rather than printed on it, so it won't rub off with use. The handle colors are also different for each size, making them easy to identify. One way to keep your cost per hook down is to purchase these in a set. However, you might want to try one out first to make sure you like them before investing in an entire set. My next favorite hook is also by Clover. It's called the Soft Touch hook. These are a hard plastic handle, but they have a soft spot for your thumb. The sizes are printed on the handle, but I haven't had problems with them rubbing off as I have with other hooks. Both of these hooks have a very smooth finish that lets the yarn glide easily. I have yet to find a smoother hook that is still affordable. And just in case you're wondering, no, I am not an affiliate with Clover. They really are my favorite. If you need an even more economical hook, you could also use a simple aluminum hook that does not have an ergonomic handle. These are usually a few dollars cheaper, but if you crochet much, you will feel more fatigue in your hand. These will work just fine, and I do like that the sizes are part of the hook and will not rub off. The finish on this style of hook is usually not as smooth as the Clover hooks, but it's still okay. Even though they cost a little more, I still highly recommend a hook with an ergonomic handle, especially if you have any carpal tunnel issues or arthritis. You will not regret it. A couple more tools that I would recommend would be stitch markers and a yarn needle. Throughout this series, I will show you how to use stitch markers to help you keep your rows straight and prevent missed stitches. A yarn needle is a must for weaving in your ends on your projects. For recommendations on stitch markers and yarn needles, see the description below. Now that you have your tools, please join me for Lesson 2, Slip Knots and Base Chains. Remember to support my channel by hitting subscribe and ringing the bell. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Happy crocheting!